Very quick thought on the national championship game. Not a lot to take away from that game because it was a complete blowout. TCU completely overmatched. Georgia dominant. But, the thing that people are going to talk about the most is Jalen Carter, because this is a player that Seahawks fans over the last few weeks have really pinned their hopes on being, an Aaron Donald style defensive tackle. We've talked a lot on SeahawksDraftBlog.com that's just not the kind of player that he is. And, people pinning their hopes on him coming in, being the top 5 pick and transforming the team and the defense. It's just not realistic. What we saw today is kind of what we were seeing at the start of the year when I was projecting him as more of a fringe first rounder, in that, yes, he had some nice plays. He split a double team at one point and created a sack for Bear Alexander. There are opportunities where he can use his power. He's obviously got a good get off and it can catch offensive linemen off guard, and then he can convert to power and play with violence, as we've talked about. But there's a lot of snaps out there that is just not impactful. He did a lot today, a lot of stunts today, like running around, just running nowhere. There are a lot of reps where he's kind of just blocked out of the play. The one touchdown that TCU had in the first half, he's demolished by the right guard. And there's just some concerns there. And then at half time, they were talking, it was just after half time, wasn't it? And they did the sideline report on ESPN, and they were mentioning there that he was embarrassed by his performance against Ohio State. And so it should be, really, because he was visibly exhausted in that game. And it was mentioned that he said he'd been doing 100-yard sprints every morning after that game to try and increase his fitness. Now, I don't know about you. You cannot increase your fitness in a week. Your conditioning is not going to improve by running sprints for a week. This is the concern that I have. Like, why are you doing sprints after a bad, embarrassing performance where you are knackered? Your conditioning has to be good in the summer, last summer. You need to be coming out week 1, ready to rock for a full season. And a college football season is shorter than an NFL season. And if he hasn't got the conditioning to get through this, how's he going to get through a full NFL season? It worries me. It really worries me. And you can kind of see, when he's being spelled as much as he is and he's tired playing 40% of the game, why his production isn't that great. He has the flashes. He makes some good plays. He's clearly a very talented player and a great athlete. But if you're taking him at 5th overall, he has to be playing more than 40% of the snaps. He can't be having bad conditioning. He can't be rocking up halfway through next season and going, better do some sprints in the morning to get my conditioning up. It has to be ready to go at training camp. And it has to be still ready to go 12 weeks into the season. So alarm bells going off for me with Jalen Carter. And when you combine that with what Todd McShay was saying about his character, I don't know how you can't be a little bit worried. The Seahawks are going to be at number 5. There's a chance that Jalen Carter will be there at number 5. I think with all that's going on, there's no doubt for me that Will Anderson's going to be the top defender taken after all of this. Just because he's reliable, he's been more productive, he has no conditioning issues, good character. No doubt for me that he's going to be the first off the board. It's just an easy decision for Arizona at number 3 to make. If it is Arizona, maybe it's Houston or even Chicago who will take that first defender off the board. But I think it's going to come down to at number 5 for Seattle. It possibly will come down to either Jalen Carter or the 3rd or the 4th quarterback, depending on who goes first. And if you were to say to me right now, what would you rather have? Jalen Carter and hoping that he's going to elevate your D-line? Or would you rather have the upside of someone like Anthony Richardson, who could come in and he needs time, I understand that. Far from the finished product, but you come in, you give him time, you sit in behind Geno Smith, and you view him as your long-term answer at quarterback. Or if it's not Anthony Richardson, a Bryce Young, a Will Levis, a CJ Stroud, whichever one of them's there, maybe there's a couple of them there. If you give me that, and you re-sign Geno Smith, and you've got a long-term plan at quarterback, and then with your later picks, in the late first round, your native pick, your 2 second-round picks, your 3rd round pick, You go and add to that D-line where there's going to be options to do that. And you go and get, maybe someone in free agency who can help you out that way. For me, that's just the way they're going to have to go. Because the more we study and learn about Jalen Carter, just the more concerning I think it has to be. Good player, but people saying that he's risk-free or is more of a sure thing or the quarterbacks are too risky, no, not for me, not at all. And there's a lot of rubbish being talked about these quarterbacks, and they are a lot better than a lot of people think. The mainstream media's got a lot to answer for with some of the nonsense they've spoken about, especially Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. This is a good quartet of quarterbacks, and any would be worth taking at number 5 for me. So we'll see what it goes. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you thought of the National Championship game in the comment section. I suspect your thoughts will be similar to mine. What a boring game. And a bit disappointing given how good the semi-finals were. What do you think of Jalen Carter? Let me know again in the comment section. Lots of draft articles on SeahawksDraftBlog.com. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.